What's poppin', everybody? Several from 4. So if you guys don't know, Jason Klaczynski added his hard gold soul silver articles into his WordPress page, and he essentially finished up all of the OG retro formats, talking about them and adding decks and articles on them basically. And it really is just like he said in the conclusion of that article. I read that. I recommend you guys read those pages as well. I probably mentioned that a billion times on this channel, but I do stand by that. I think every Pokemon TCG fan should get to know those formats, possibly. Anyway, just my opinion. But just like he says in that conclusion, the hard gold, soul silver sets, they're basically is the last sets, the last sort of chapter in an OG TCG era that has now passed. You know, with black and white, with the rules drastically changing, you know, the fusion of bodies and powers into abilities, and the card layout changing so drastically, and all the changes. It really is like a different era. And I thought about this many times before in the past, but I know it's just impossible. But how cool would it have been to be able to play these formats again in TCG Online, since, you know, asking for a video game about those eras is probably impossible. But like, let's say the old Game Boy Color game, that basically you get to play with the first couple of wizard sets, the original 3 sets. I believe it should be from base set to fossil. And then they made the Game Boy Color game that was only into Japan, adding a couple of more sets. And then we never saw anything like that. And of course, since we have TCG Online now, they're never going to make a video game like that. How cool would it have been if we were able to relive those formats or experience them for the first time? Because I know that in the Pokemon TCG and in any TCG, they basically recycle a lot of the aspects of the game over and over, but no matter how you look at it, every format has a specific charm. They all have a different charm. Like even the black and white format to the X and Y format, and the stuff we have now, stuff that we had in the past, stuff that got reprinted, and all the effects and cards that are so similar and they get reprinted with the same effects and stuff. The formats, they're never the same. They all have a different charm. It's like basically all these sort of fighting games, 2D fighting games, let's say. They're all 2D fighting games, but they all have some differences. And being able to have the option of, let's say, playing tournaments and competing with a specific type of different fighting game, you know, it brings a new sort of value into play if you want to play like that. And it's the same with the other TCG formats. Hard Gold, Soul Silver, he just finished writing that, as I've said. Just those 5 sets alone, they have a different charm. The Platinum DP sets, they have their own charm. The 3rd generation sets, they have their own charm. And you know, mixing, depending on the formats that you mix, let's say the Hard Gold, Soul Silver sets with the DP sets, which are kind of compatible, they have a different charm, of course. And you know, it creates a different sort of game, different strategies. Cards and decks, you know, change when it comes to their reliability and how good they are. And like I've said, it has a different charm. Now, I wish he actually added more for Heart Gold, Soul Silver. He's not going to write any more about that, but I wish he covered the Heart Gold, Soul Silver format in the DP format as well, and just created decks for that format too. But he just wrote a bunch of the best decks just from Heart Gold, Soul Silver to Call of Legends. But it's fine. Just thought I'd mention that. I know they're never going to do it. They're never going to make like a video game on the Nintendo Switch or 3DS where you can just play the older formats, because that basically just distracts, you know, people from buying the new shit. If they had a game like that, or if they just give you the opportunity to play with those cards again, the old cards, unless they're gonna print products again, basically reprinting them, then that just distracts everyone from playing the new shit, buying the new shit. So it doesn't make sense for them to do that when they can just instead release new cards. Even though I do have a lot of these older cards and I'm buying them, and you know, if I had a close person, I don't really play with my brother anymore, unfortunately. You know, if you have a person like that, or a friend or a significant other, you are able to play, these formats again, like Jason Klaczynski. That's what he did basically to write those articles. Play tested and played with other people. I'm guessing his close friends, and came up with those articles, just looking at everything concisely and really closely about those formats, every little thing about them. You can play if you have a person like that, but it's not the same when you have this ease and flexibility of if those formats were available in TCG Online. I wish they did that. Many months ago, years ago actually, there was a couple of glitches that I've noticed on my TCG Online. I don't know if anybody else noticed them. I also made a video about it. It's very old. You're gonna have to look through the oldest videos on my channel. Back when I wasn't even really a TCG YouTuber, I just uploaded random videos. There was a bunch of Diamond and Pearl cards, like there was a Bomber Snow from Stormfront, there was a Torterra from Majestic Dawn, a couple of cards like that. They're no longer on the TCG Online, and I always had the hope, maybe they're programming them, maybe someday they're gonna make those cards available, but it never happened. We do have the Prime cards, which is basically the oldest cards for TCG Online, the relic of the old era, because when the TCG Online launched, those cards were still legal, so they had to include them. And I really wish they made at least a format where the only cards you can use are basically the hard gold, soul silver cards. So people can try and acquire them. You can't buy them from the shop, they have the packs there now. And just try playing those formats, experience another format basically. Like I've said, get that charm of those sets. It's not the same as being an unlimited format or a format that includes like the legacy format where they include the black and white cards too and the hard gold soul silver cards. So I wish they do that. I hope they do stuff like that. There's a lot of things they can do with TCG Online to make it better, of course. But like I've said, it's just that it's actually almost like a luxury. They're allowing us to have those cards, buy them, and just play them in unlimited formats and stuff because, like I've said, it just basically distracts and takes people away from playing the standard format, the expanded format, the formats that they want us to play, basically. But I hope they do that someday. There's only like a legacy format or a format, just the hard gold, soul silver format at the very least, and we can play those formats. I wish I had someone that I could play with. I was actually thinking of finding somebody to just make content, building just those hard gold, soul silver sets, and basically adding some true OG matches and content on my channel. But it's really hard spending money to get the older cards and spending tokens when you gotta be getting the new cards to play the standard format. And it's just difficult. But someday I'm gonna do that. I wasn't supposed to reveal that yet. It was supposed to be a surprise. But anyways, I don't think it's ever gonna be possible though. It's a difficult thing to do. Maybe if they just make an actual legal like format in TCG Online with the hard gold soul silver sets, just them, then maybe. Anyways, guys, I highly recommend you check out these articles from Jason Klaczynski. I don't think he's going to be writing anything for a while. Like he said, the black and white stuff isn't exactly retro just yet. I mean, they would have to drastically change the TCG again until the black and white stuff becomes like OG, because basically the black and white X and Y cards and even the Sun and Moon cards, they're pretty compatible, especially the X and Y and black and white sets. They basically have the same sort of compatibility the hard gold, soul silver sets with the DP sets had. So yeah, and you can still play them in expanded. So they're not quite OG, even though they are old from 2011. But anyways, guys, just a simple rant here, just talking about TCG, older formats. I'm a sucker for them. Some of them I experienced, a lot of them I didn't experience, and I wish I could. I would really kill for a TCG game online, or they release like a cartridge game for the Nintendo Switch or what have you that just basically includes those formats, those older sets, and like a story or something. It's the same with Yu-Gi-Oh! Like I own the Tag Force 2 and Tag Force 3, and depending on the game you play, you get to experience different formats once again with the cards legal, the ban lists and stuff. And it's really cool. It's not the same with other formats. But anyways, I think this video is a wrap. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys subscribe, leave a like, share this with your friends. Say Bro24, what up?